Hey guys, it's Victor. I'm back with another video to help inventors be successful, which is the name of the game. So lately I've been pitching a lot of products in the licensing world. I've been pitching a lot more than normal. And I felt it's good to take stock in what's been working for me and what strategies that you could employ for your own product pitching. So without further ado, I'm going to try to keep the video not too long, okay? But I do want to point out that much of what I do is I help people build their own businesses. But right now, licensing, it's a legitimate model, and I've been involved in quite a bit of that lately. And I wanted to stop by and kind of talk about that in more detail. So ultimately, to get a deal, you need a presentation and you need the right contacts. You need to put together a nice, solid, professional presentation, and you need to find a nice, solid list of companies that are legitimate, that are good companies to partner with, good companies that review ideas. You want to have those two checked off because that'll give you the greatest chance of getting a deal. Now, I go even further. I don't pitch every company. If they're quite small, because I have seen people get deals with really small companies, and very rarely does it work out financially, because if it's a small company, they're typically not going to be able to push that product hard enough to make it make sense from a revenue point of view. And remember, in licensing, you get 3 to 5%. So you got to make that 3 to 5% count. You want to make a decent amount off that small percentage. So that's why you got to select the companies very carefully. Just like they're critiquing you, you got to critique them. Make sure they're of the caliber that you want to work with. The other thing about picking them carefully is that most companies want exclusivity, which means you're not going to be able to license it to another company or give rights to another company. Most companies I deal with, especially when we land a deal, they want exclusivity, which means they want to be the sole sellers of it. They don't want anybody else working with that product. I know a lot of people thinking, oh, I can get a deal with them, that, and the other, and I can just kind of get all these deals, but most companies want exclusivity. I'm just going to tell you straight up. But as far as the companies I contact, I target companies that their revenue is anywhere between 5 and 100 million. If they're too small, you don't want to risk getting a deal and then ending up not making really much of anything. And what I also find is when they're really, really big, there's a threshold that happens with almost every company where they're no longer open to outside products. It's all done internally. So I found the sweet spot, and it's quite a range, but I found the sweet spot to be between 5 and 100 million. Sometimes I'll even just do 10 to 100 million, and I'll make sure those are the companies that I contact. Now, there's nothing wrong with contacting companies that are smaller. There's nothing wrong with that. But as far as the results, getting better results, I try to make sure who we're contacting are a good fit, and everybody wins. Make sure there's a good balance. Now, when you do this properly, you're going to find there's only about 10 to 20 qualified companies. If you look through this, you look through this criteria that I'm going through, you'll find out that there's about 10 to 20 on average that are legitimately good fits, are in a position to do it from a revenue point of view and have an interest and openness to accept outside ideas. So that really falls back on, hey, you need a solid presentation, something extremely professional. One rule of thumb when it comes to professional presentations is I want you to look like you're already a business or about to be. Something professional enough to where you can give that vibe. You don't want to look like a fly-by-night inventor who had an idea on the toilet one day. You want to look like a guy that knows what he's doing, and you're going to be successful whether they're involved or not. That's the impression that I want you to give. Now, I don't want you to treat them like dirt or anything like that, but that's the impression that I want you to give to these companies is that, hey, you got it going on. This is a great product. It's going to make money for whoever partners with you. And it just stands on its own. They see the sell sheet. They see the product imagery. It's just so professional. They can tell you're the real deal. Now, the other thing about sell sheets, the presentation side of things, is I'm seeing a large number of inventors utilizing AI 100% of the time. And I'm seeing countless AI-generated images these days. And all it's telling me, just the smell, I mean, all I sense is that this is a lazy inventor. In most cases, I'm correct. They just happen to be lazy. And whether they have money or not, money will always help you if you get the right help, But I get it. AI is great. It's a great tool. But what I'm noticing is that a lot of people using AI, they happen to be extremely lazy, which is not a trait you can afford to have when your goal is to pitch a product for an extended period of time, try to generate that interest, and move into a deal. Laziness is basically not going to ever be rewarded in this field. So that's why what I do is I typically design the product in CAD, get it to a certain level, and then if I want to, then I send it to AI to improve it. But I don't ever require AI to do it from scratch. So all this is right now is basically a synopsis of what's been going on and some thoughts that I think would really, really help you on how to screen through these companies, who to target. Speaking of who to target, marketing departments are great. That's usually the first department that I contact in a company because they get it. They could see the vision of the product. They can see the revenue potential a lot better than many other people in the company. So that's generally the department that I target. So I just wanted to leave these kind of loose tips for you that you can pretty much add to your repertoire and how you go about the process so that you can see better results, man. So with that, I'm going to leave it to you. If you do need help, contact me. LinkedIn's one of the best ways to do it. And happy hunting out there, my friends.